Today, we're going to be talking about how to increase your sales performance. That's our top, actually going to be the topic for the week. So I'm putting out some pointers, some tips, some tricks, some hacks on how we can increase our sales performance. So the first thing is there's 12 defining traits that separate a real estate professional with a real estate hobbyist. Someone who's just dabbing in this. So, are you all in, or are you sort of dabbing in real estate, hoping that, hey, what you've heard is correct, where it's easy, it's quick money, and they don't really have to put in too much time and effort or work into it, right? And the reality is, in our industry, both those personas exist in our industry. But here's the one thing. Is if you want longevity in this real estate business, it's only the real professionals that really outlast here, right? So the question really I have for you is, what does it take to become a true professional in our real estate business? And what we've written down here is there's 12 traits that every true real estate professional follow, right? And taking a look at these 12 traits, what I'm going to ask you to do is highlight which ones are you living up to and which ones do you need to start applying, start putting into your business to get you to becoming that true professional in the real estate business. So I want you to write down the first one. First trait is all real estate professionals, they set goals, they write them down as a plan, and then they execute those plans, right? See, this is simple enough, but obviously to achieve the big things that require in the goal setting and of course your business plan, right? To achieve these goals, you have to write them down. Then once you have them written down, it takes the discipline to actually execute your plan. Instead of being distracted and things being pulled this way or that way, you stay disciplined to that plan. In that plan, you'll notice that there are small steps, little baby steps that we're taking to get us to the ultimate goal. And a true professional has a goal and they take those steps. They work those steps, right? Trait number 2 is they have a strong work ethic, and whatever it takes, kind of spirit within them. That, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to achieve my goal. Remember that, we've been saying this a long time with our coaching members, right? See, 10% of success is knowing what to do and how to do it. The other 90% is actually doing the work. So if you're not willing to put in the work, if it's too difficult for you to pick up the phone to call people that you know and talk to them and be that of service to them, if it's too difficult for you to hold those open houses, set up a geographical farm and connect with people in that geographical farm, if you don't have that work ethic, saying to yourself, hey, this is my business, right? I'm putting together a business. And if I'm not willing to put in the time and effort that's required, that work ethic, then you're not going to become that professional, right? We need to rise up to the level of saying, hey, I'm a business owner. This is my business and I'm all in, right? Trait number 3, I want you to write this down. They use technology to improve, the speed, right? And provide better experiences for their clients, right? Making it as convenient as possible for the consumer. If you ever listen to Tom Ferry's podcast with Seth Golden, it was with a summit. He was a keynote speaker back in October, right? And he pretty much said that being pretty good at what you're doing isn't good enough, right? You need to provide a type of service that wows your clients and gets them talking about you, right? That's what professionals do, right? And they do the same thing when it comes to making things easier on themselves, right? See, by investing back into technology to improve efficiencies in their business, is your tech really moving you forward in your business, moving your team forward in your business, and helping your clients, have that better experience, right? So what is it that you're doing to keep improving and innovate your real estate business? Are you taking the time to look at that? Okay, trait number 4, write this one down, is they are good listeners and approach each customer with empathy and understanding and respect. Okay, so they put into the consumer and they put themselves in the consumer's shoes, right? They make an effort to understand what makes them unique, right? They meet them where they're at in respect to what their home desires are, their plan, their emotions. What is it that they need from you, right? It's not about them, it's about the consumer, right? And what are they offering that consumer? What is that unique selling proposition that the consumer needs from you, right? Putting yourself in their shoes and marketing to them that way, right? See, what you want to do is you want to stop the talking and really listen to what the consumer wants, right? And I guess this really highlights, what sort of agent are you when it comes to marketing? Are you more the, hey, look at me, I sold this home for over asking? Let me tell you something. It wasn't you. It was not you that got that home sold for over asking. It's the market. Let's be honest. Can we stop saying that the home sold for over asking? We know that we're in that marketplace. But are you marketing towards the consumer, looking at what they need, who they are, looking at their problem, and then marketing it that way? It's like, hey, I know what you're looking for. I know what your problem is. Here's the solution. Here's what we're looking at. So it's marketing and really listening to what it is that they do. Pro tip number 5, okay, write this one down. They are knowledgeable about the process and they know how to guide the client successfully through the real estate transaction. Now, most of you are like, this is no brainer, Danny. Of course I know how to run the transaction. This is easy. But what we're talking about here are those little variables that happen, right? How broad of a scope do you have when it comes to, giving some advice and thinking outside the box? An example of that would be, what are the 4 or 5 different ways that you can approach the fact that sellers right now want to sell, but are afraid to put their home on the market because they don't know where to go to next? What are those options, outside of the box ideas that you have that you can make the client feel comfortable about the idea of putting their home up for sale, knowing full well that their interest is protected, right? Some ideas that we've come up with was a rent back program, where the seller can sell their home and then rent back the home, to themselves, because buyers are, they're in a position right now where they want the house and they're willing to give up, the idea of moving into the house a few months earlier. So seller takes over the house, they stay in the house until they find something that they like, that they want to buy, right? They're just renting back to the new owners. So that is an idea, that is an option, that is thinking outside the box. Are you taking the time to really think outside the box and share the different ideas that are out there? Do you take the time every day to learn the different techniques, to learn a different way to communicate? Are you taking the time to learn how to pace and lead conversations, working on your craft, working on your skill set? All part of that. Okay. Tip number 6, write this one down. We're halfway through. Professional realtors set realistic expectations for themselves and their clients. They don't promise what's not possible or reasonable, right? Think about that for a second. They don't promise what's not possible or reasonable. See, professionalism is all about taking a long-term perspective, right? Hobbyists are going to basically hack it out and say whatever it takes to get the deal done. It's a short-term success, right? So when you're upfront and honest with the consumer, that's what they're looking for. That's the number 1 trait they're looking for when it comes to real estate agents, right? Professionals provide honesty and straightforward advice to the client. And it's all about that whole idea of under promising and over delivering, right? Looking at the client, and because we're looking at a long-term relationship with that client. You've worked hard to get that client, right? Don't start souring the relationship because you're promising things that you can't deliver, right? I really like the idea of under promising and over delivering, because that's going to grow that relationship with the client. All right, let's move to the next one, number 7. They delegate when possible to focus on their highest and best use of time, right? It's probably my favorite one. Highest and best use of time. You've heard us talk about what is the highest and best use of time, right? But have you taken that to heart? Have you delegated the tasks to someone that can do it for $20 or $30 an hour? Knowing full well that for you, it's worth like $1,000 an hour when you're doing that task, right? So have you explored, for example, simple things like using technology like Slide Broadcast or Hit 'em Up app, or even maybe looking into a virtual assistant or a full-time in-house assistant, right? An ISA. What are the things that you can pawn off to someone else so that you can be doing the highest and best use of your time, right? Having systems and having a business like that to free your focus on what matters most for you, right? So we want to make sure that, as a professional, that's what we're doing, right? Highest and best use of our time. Okay, trait number 8. They market themselves and their homes for sale in the most modern way possible, right? Using tools such as, obviously we've got the MLS system, direct mail, online, but more importantly, looking at other ways to market the property, right? Exposing this and making yourself look like that hyper local agent, right? An example of that would be, when you list the property, there's usually that period before when the client signed the paperwork before it's actually on the MLS. Right? Maybe it's a week, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, and you're getting the home prepared. Do you start marketing the property at that point? Are you shooting videos behind the scenes, putting that out there, putting out information so that you can market the property as much as possible, taking advantage of the fact that inventory is low and possibly getting your own buyer for the property. Right. Tip number 9. They've properly positioned themselves online. Okay, this is like my Google My Business page, all the social media profiles that are out there, right? We've gone over this on our coaching call where you take a look at the most common social media profiles, making sure that you've put yourself in a position where everything looks the same, everything sits the same, so that Google can really, put you up there when it comes to the search engine optimization, right? It's maximizing your Google My Business page. It's engaging on social media. It's putting out content on a regular basis. But most importantly, and this is real key, when you put content on social media, are you taking the time to respond to the comments? Are you taking the time to connect with the people that are responding to you, right? This is actually extremely important because Google looks at that and says, okay, you put out a piece of content, someone made a comment about it, but then are you going back and make sure that that's being fulfilled, whatever the questions or concerns the client may have, right? All right, let's move to the next one, right? Tip number 10. They respond to inquiries quickly and recognize the consumer's expectations is now, right? So going back to the comment I made about social media, but what about when it comes to leads that come into you, right? Are you responding? Are you easy to get a hold of? Or is there someone on your team that's there? Because remember, people want that Amazon-like experience where they can just push a button and it's just that easy for them, right? And the results are delivered like right away, right? Do you have that? Have you set it up in your, let's say, your Linktree account? Do you have a button there that people can click on and set an appointment with you automatically? Like if I wanted to get an oil change for my car, I can literally just, boom, go to BMW, boom, and I can set an appointment on my phone, like right there, and it's done. Can they do that with you? Have you set up your business in a way that it can be automated that way, where they can literally set an appointment with you and not have to talk to you, right? That's, again, becoming that professional, right? Really looking at the technology here. All right, number 11, write this one down. They know their local market, neighborhoods, schools, and pricing trends, right? And one of the most important keys is they also know of reliable home service providers. At the end of the day, you are a true professional when you can help your clients beyond just real estate, where you can help them with, hey, I know a plumber, I know an electrician, I know a painter, I have this person, I have that person, right? You become that knowledge broker for the client. Hey, when you can talk deep and say, hey, this neighborhood is this, and that school is amazing, and I know about the teachers and the principal, right? Are you engaged with the counselors in your area, or even the mayor? Do you know the mayor? Have you spoken to the mayor in your area, right? Have you spoken to the local counselor? Have you met with them? Right? So how in depth are you locally in the neighborhood, right? Because professionals tie themselves into the neighborhood. It's more than just real estate for them. And the last point I want you to write down is number 12. They have a growth mindset. They maintain relevance and confidence in their business, because that's what professionals do, right? It isn't just about getting by and making a buck. Right? It's that growth mindset that I'm building something greater than that one transaction or 10 transactions, right? It's looking at this and it's like, hey, I am building a business here. I am building something that if I wanted to, I can pass down to my children if I wanted to, right? So looking at those 12 traits, right? Which ones are you missing? Which ones do you need some help with, right? We can discuss that in our coaching call. I hope this helped. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, hallucinations? What do you guys got? No? You guys all good? Then if that's the case, please unmute yourselves. Everybody mute yourselves. I see Carmen there. You ready, Carmen? All right, Tanya, are you guys ready? All right. What day?
I'm ready.
What day?
Money making day.
That's right. It's a money making day. So what do you have to do in your business right now to help you move the needle? You guys are awesome. I'll talk to all of you tomorrow. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Dan.
Danny.